Hey everyone, it's the MonkeyC developer here, and I'm here with a little tutorial just to get you started using ConnectIQ. Now, if you're not familiar with ConnectIQ, that is the app development platform or the content development platform for external developers for Garmin products. So I've got the App Store open right here. You can see it's the ConnectIQ store, and there are a lot of different things that you can build with ConnectIQ. One of the most popular things is watch faces. You've also got data fields which show you information when you're doing an activity with a Garmin device. You have widgets, which provide you information at a glance. Then you have full-on applications, and then on some products that support it, you can also make your own custom music applications. As you can see, they have Spotify, and there's a podcasting app and things like that. So lots of cool things that you can do. Here's just a quick overview of some of the trending apps, most popular things, new and updated things. You can see we have a nice bongo cat here. You can make a lot of cool things. So Garmin is a fairly large and growing platform. So there are quite a few developers on it, but there's not a lot of content out there on how to get started with it. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and jump in. So whether you're a developer or you're just a hobbyist, my goal is to get you started and running apps with the software development kit by Garmin. So it brings me to my next thing. Garmin provides a software development kit for developers called the ConnectIQ Sdk. And so if you're a hobbyist, an SDK is a software development kit, and it basically provides everything that you need to make content for a specific platform. And if you're a developer or you're taking programming courses or anything like that, then you're really familiar with that term. So we'll be back to this page here in just a moment, but there are a couple prerequisites for using the Garmin software development kit for ConnectIQ. One of those is that you have to have the Java runtime environment installed. You don't have to have the full software development kit installed to do this, but you do need the runtime environment. So if you don't have that installed, then go ahead and do that. This is what Oracle's download page looks like. I've already downloaded this. I already have it installed, so I'm not going to do that and waste time. But you have a list here of what your operating system is. If you're using Mac here, if you're using Windows here, using Linux here. Yes, Garmin does support Linux for software development as well. All of the Linux users rejoice. So you need to download that. Go ahead and install that if you haven't already, and then you can pause this video, download that, install that, and then we'll jump back in. Okay, now that you have your software development kit installed, the next thing that you're going to need is the Eclipse Ide. And you can do development with ConnectIQ without this, but Garmin does provide a plugin for ConnectIQ in Eclipse to help you out with software development. So I highly recommend using that. If you really don't want to, there are command line options if you're a more experienced developer, and you can go that route. But for the purpose of this tutorial, we're just going to get people up and going. So we're going to stick with this. So if you go to eclipse.org, go to downloads, it should automatically give you the version that you need. I'm using Windows 10 64-bit, so I would click that, but I've actually already got this downloaded. So you can see it's right here in my downloads folder. I'm going to go ahead and install that. I'm actually going to do this on screen for those of you who are unfamiliar with this. I'll take a moment for that. I'll close some of these other tabs as well. Okay. So what you're going to want to do here is you're going to choose Eclipse IDE for Java developers. And that means we're going to have all of the tools that Java developers do. We've got the JRE, the Java runtime environment. Yeah, sorry. Not the JDK, but we're going to go ahead and install this. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to make something up here. All right. Go ahead and install this. It should be pretty fast Won't take too long here. I'm going to go ahead and close this down as well. Open that back up. We're going to be coming right back to this page by Garmin as well. Bear with me for just a moment. As you can see here, as we're waiting for that to install, when you do use the ConnectIQ SDK, there's a license agreement. It's pretty standard, just like anything else, but if you want to do some light reading, it's right there. Talks about what you can and can't do with the SDK. It's pretty light, but this is where we're going to be at after we finish installing. So let's go check on that. It's taking a little bit longer than normal. That's what it's telling me. So we can go ahead and familiarize ourselves with these steps here. Once we have Eclipse installed, we're going to go ahead and install a new software in Eclipse, which is just a plugin that I talked about. We're going to use this link right here to install it. And that's going to give us our latest plugin version. Again, this is taking a little longer, so I'll show you some other resources here. This is at developer.garmin.com/connectiq. Right now we're on the /SDK link here, so that's where you get the SDK. But there's also a lot of other information here. It tells you what you can build, different app types that I talked about before. There's a full set of information about how you can monetize the different compatible devices. There's a programmer's guide which tells you step by step how to get started as well, which is kind of what we're doing in just an abbreviated format, but walks through pretty much everything you need to know to get started with ConnectIQ. And just like any programming language, these only go so far. The rest is up to your creativity and your ability as a programmer as you grow. There's a full set of API docs for the different things that you have access to in ConnectIQ as well. But we're going to go ahead and go back here. Okay. Yes, I do trust this. And we're going to go ahead and finish this. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and launch Eclipse here. An Eclipse is an IDE. If you're not familiar with what an IDE is, it's a integrated development environment, and it allows you to do a lot of different things. I'm going to go ahead and use a different workspace here. You can go ahead and use whatever the default is, but for this, I want to use my tutorials workspace that I've set up. Okay, once you've plugged in the workspace that you want, go ahead and click OK, and we'll go ahead and launch. And I promise we're getting to the good stuff here. It's taking a little longer than I'd hoped. Okay, here we go. There's just a little page that pops up with Eclipse. I'm going to go ahead and take that off. I'll get rid of that. This is what Eclipse looks like. You have something to explore, the different projects that you have imported. This is where all of your code is going to show up. There's a couple different options down here, and this is what it looks like for a Java developer. What we want to do is set it up for ConnectIQ. So if you're on Windows, you're going to go up to Help, and you're going to go to Install New Software. On Mac, it's also going to be up on your top bar somewhere, but I think it might be Eclipse Preferences, or it might be under Help on the top bar. I can't remember. What we're going to do, we're going to say Add. And I'm just going to say ConnectIQ. And then I'm going to take that URL that I grabbed earlier. I'm just going to paste that right in there. developer.garmin.com/download/connect-iq/Eclipse. And then another slash. Hit add. What that does is Eclipse reaches out to that website by Garmin, that URL, and it finds and says, okay, I have an IDE plugin, and I have something called an SDK Manager as well. So go ahead and check that. We're going to install those. It's going to say, hey, I'm installing, give you a little progress bar. You'll say next. You'll accept the terms. and license agreement, which is what I showed earlier on that page before. You have to do that to download. Click Finish. And you can see it's installing the software right now. It says, do you want to install this? Yes, we do, because we trust Garmin. And we'll restart. Now that we have our workspace set up, Eclipse should launch a little bit quicker. Okay, we've got this all set up, and say OK. And you'll notice we have a couple new things here. We have something that says Simulator. We've got a little button that says Open ConnectIQ Sdk Manager. So there's a couple different things there. What I want to do here, and we have the ConnectIQ menu with some new options as well. What I want to do here is I want to go to Window, and I want to go to Perspectives, and I want to say Open New Perspective and say Other. What this is going to do is give us a perspective that's unique to ConnectIQ and give us some interesting information. So go ahead and click on ConnectIQ and click Open. Again, the steps on Mac are a little bit different. And you can see right here we have a console here, and we have some new items. And this console is saying the SDK path is not set. So you can click on that if you want, but what we're going to do, we're actually going to use Garmin's SDK Manager that they've built. So you can do that here and go to Open SDK Manager, or you can hit this button right here. Okay, and it says pick the directory to save SDK downloads to. So we're going to find that. I'm just going to go ahead and put that here in our tutorials workspace, and I'm going to say SDKs. Select that folder, and right now it's searching Garmin's database of their different SDKs that they have available. So right now they're at 3.0.8, and you can see it goes way back there. So you can download any of these. There are different reasons you might want to do that, but for our purposes, we're just going to go ahead and download the latest. Again, you have to accept the license agreement. This is going to download the SDK direct from Garmin, so we don't have to do anything outside of this. We don't have to unzip it or anything like that. It just does this for us on a Mac. It'll download a DMG file for you and go ahead and just open that up as well and put everything where it needs to be to get you rolling. We'll give that a moment here. All right, and as this is finished up, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about another thing here. One of the things with ConnectIQ apps is when you upload them to the ConnectIQ store, they want to know who you are and make sure that it's the same app being uploaded when you do updates and things like that. So they do that with something called a developer key. So we actually have to set that. We're going to say use ConnectIQ SDK 308 as your active ConnectIQ SDK. We're going to go ahead and say yes. And you'll see here it says current SDK. And you can hit remove and it'll say it'll remove it. You can download it again, and we'll go ahead and do that. And I'll tell you a little bit about developer keys. So your developer key, you want to make sure that you save this somewhere. Save multiple copies, save it somewhere that's safe. Because what can happen, and I've talked to some developers that this has happened with, if you sign your content with your developer key and then you upload it to the store and you lose your developer key and you can't sign it with the same key, basically it just puts your signature on that app, then the store's not going to accept it later. And that's not a good deal, and there's nothing you can really do about it. So no, word to the wise, keep your developer keys safe. So just showing you how that works. We removed it. I went ahead and downloaded it again, and we're just going to go ahead and use that one. So let's close that down. To set our developer key, we need to go to, I think it's Window. Yeah, Window, and then Preferences. On Mac, you're going to be going to, I think it's Eclipse Preferences. And then you have a ConnectIQ section here. You can see it's already set our SDK directory correctly for us, and you can open the SDK Manager there as well. We want to expand that and go to Compiler. what you want to do here is it says you need a developer key. It says value must be an existing file. So we're actually going to generate a developer key. ConnectIQ lets you do this. There's a built-in key generator here that allows you to do that. So we'll click on that, choose a location to save the file. Again, I'm just going to do this right here. I'm just going to call it developer key. You can call it whatever you want. My developer key, I'm just going to say developer key and hit save. It's going to put it right there. I'm going to click finish. Right now it's generated a developer key and it says okay. And now we don't have any red boxes saying okay, things aren't going to work here. So we're going to go ahead and click apply and close, and we should be ready to make an app. So to do that, it's really simple. The team at Garmin has created some templates for you to do. So if you just go to new and you go to project, there's a new ConnectIQ option there. If you do that, you can say ConnectIQ project. Monkey Barrels is a different thing. We'll get to that in a different tutorial. Go ahead and hit next. And let's make a watch face. So I'm going to call it my watch face. My watch face. And we're going to use a default location, D tutorials. Yep, we're just going to do that in our workspace. That's where we're going to do everything. Here you have a little toggle that lets you choose between those 5 different types. We're going to say watch face. And you can give this a version number or you don't have to. Don't worry about this right now. We're just going to leave this where it is. We'll get into more of that later. Hit next. We're going to make a simple watch face. No settings or anything like that. We just want something that's going to run so you can see what it's like. We're going to hit next. And now you get to choose which device it's going to run on. Now there's some differences in Garmin devices. Watch faces are only going to run on watches, so that's the only options you have right here. You're going to check the ones that you want. So a popular one is the VivoActive 3 Music. And then another really popular one is the Fenix 5 Plus. So let's go ahead, find the Fenix 5 Plus. And we'll click next. You can choose language support if you want to do that. Otherwise, it's just going to default to English. And hit next. If you're going to do anything that requires permissions, you have to check them off here, but that's for a different time as well. So go ahead and click finish. And as you can see, the plugin has created a new project for us that has a different structure here with our source files and resources and all kinds of things that we'll get into at another time. But we have a default template here. Here's where your code shows up, and then this gives you different information about the build that you have created. Again, it says we didn't say any languages were supported or defined, so just go into the default, which is okay for us right now. This is what MonkeyC looks like. We'll get into that more, but for right now, just go ahead and right-click on the root folder of your project and go to Run As. Click on ConnectIQ app. Choose which one you want to run it for. Let's look at the VivoActive 3 Music. You can choose the target SDK, but we won't worry about that either. Go ahead and click OK. And a simulator is going to pop up here. Oh, yep. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to allow this access. And as you can see, we have a simulator here. And this is a picture of a VivoActive 3, and it's showing our time right now. And let's go ahead and run this for the Fenix 5 Plus. Alright, should be in there. And you can see this is what a Fenix 5 Plus looks like, and this is what our watch face looks like on it. So a little bit of setup, but once you get in here and everything is set up, it's really that easy to make a watch face. I can make another one in just a few clicks. Project, ConnectIQ project. My other watch face. And we'll just go to watch face here. Do this. We'll just breeze on through these different things here, and I'm going to go ahead and make this one for the Fenix 5X and the Fenix 5S Plus. or I'll do the Phoenix 5X Plus. So you can see some of the other popular sizes there. I'm going to go ahead and hit finish because we're going to leave all those default options. So here's my other watch face. If I right click it and run and I hit OK, then here we are running in the 5S Plus. And then if I do this and I do run here, 5X Plus, and hit OK, it'll launch it, and here I am running that same watch face in the 5X Plus. So once we got everything set up, we just made 2 watch faces in probably less than 5 minutes. It's really that easy. And then in our next tutorials, we'll get into what it looks like when we start changing some of the code and doing some unique and fun things. So hopefully this has been helpful to get you up and running and at least started with Connect IQ.